Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
All right. Oh my. Don't do that. All right, everybody. How are you doing? Hopefully things are going well for you today. Sorry about that feedback, because that was major. So hopefully you weren't like listening on some AirPods or something and that came through very, very painfully loud. I apologize. Either way, what we're going to do today is something of a... is something of an audible. So here's what I want to say. Sometimes when you are doing your business, you have to be prepared for the unexpected, if that makes sense. So you're like, how can I be prepared for the unexpected? Long story short, we will not be interviewing Zarel today. Hopefully we'll be able to do so soon. And what I do have, though, is I have a good number of the questions that I didn't finish yesterday to be able to catch up with and get through. So we're definitely going to be able to do that, which I think is a good thing. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time and you're like, what in the world is going on? Hi. My name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. What we do very simply is we help you become a bigger, better, badder entrepreneur. How do we do that? We help you build cash flow, typically using real estate, specifically short-term rentals. And I'm hoping that's why you're here, is that you would like to build more cash flow. So if you are new, do me a favor real fast. Go ahead and type the word new in the chat, because I would love to be able to talk to you, welcome you, etc. And we want to help you take whatever that next step looks like. So what we're going to do tonight, wow. What we're going to do today is we're going to continue answering some of the questions that have been pre-submitted. If for some reason you've got a question that's really long and or detailed or something of that nature, or a good one, and you want to make sure that we get to it, you want to go to cashflowdiary.com/ask. That is the only way we can guarantee that your question gets answered. Now, a number of you, you're in the chat. Thank you for coming back. And we will gladly answer your questions too, if you want. Just know that the risk is it might get missed. We're not trying to miss them, but it's definitely possible. So just go ahead and type those in the chat as well. All right, let's see. Who do we have? We have a number of things. What's this? What does this say? Finally found the live chat. Awesome. Facebook is confusing me. Yes, there have been lots of user or interface changes over there. So who knows? That's very, very possible, I guess, in this particular time and day. And then, yes, we are back. This is number 12, live every day in the month of August. That's kind of what we do. So it's the month of August every day, 9 a.m. For those of you who are here for the first time, go ahead and hit that like and or subscribe button. We will make that work. So, let's see. What is this? Who else is watching on? Hey, it's Mary as well as Dante. Excellent. Glad that you both are here as well. All right. So let's get down to some of the good stuff, right? Let's get down to some of that and see what we can do in terms of getting some of these questions answered that people have here. All right. Okay, so let's start with this one. There was a question, it said, what are the best ways to market my short-term rental right now? Is there specific wording and strategies that people are taking action on right now? I find that question is worded in a very interesting way. And the answer is yes, that there's always, every business should have a specific wording and strategies that they are using right now, yesterday, into the future. There's never a time that a business isn't being or using specific wording or strategies. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense. However, here's what I think you're really saying. You're saying something to the effect of, there's been a shift in the market, and what I want to do is that I still want to make sure that I stay profitable. I still want to make sure that I'm in front of the right customer, etc. That's what I get from the question, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm going to take this particular answer. If for some reason that is not the question you actually meant, by all means, please type that in the chat. All right. What are the best ways? So part of the challenge I have with the question is that the question reveals a certain level of thinking. For example, the best. It to me connotates things like, it's superlative language, which is fine. I get that you want the most efficient. You want something that actually works. But you're also could be looking for the silver bullet, which doesn't exist. Additionally, there isn't a one size fit all approach. I don't care whose Facebook group you're in. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. There's not a one size fits all group. So I'm going to answer the question, but I have to give you this caveat in order to be responsible with the words that I'm about to share with you. Okay. Here's what it comes down to. If for some reason, all right, you are serving a completely different customer type than the person whom you're asking for the answer, they're probably not giving you something that's relevant. Here's what I mean. The very first question that you should ask yourself as a short-term rental operator is, who do I want to serve? Because once you've asked yourself that question, everything else trails off of it. What I mean is it's very, very simple. One of the resources that we give, like during we have a live multiple day training coming up for everybody. So during one of those, let me see, I might actually be able to find it real fast. During the day one, in fact, on day one, it is the first question we go through. We take you through a worksheet, because that worksheet, when you answer, who do you want to serve, and all of the things that go along with that, what it does is it informs all of the other decisions, like what you're asking, the best way to market, right? And the specific wording and strategies, because the best way is dependent upon to whom you're marketing, to whom that particular service is being customized or catered to. Let me give you a very crazy example. I have 4 children. The oldest is 23. The youngest is, 9. Pray for me. I understand. Here's my point. even if they both are hungry, and even if they want some of the same food, the odds are the advertisement that they respond to for a cheeseburger is going to be two completely different locations, two completely different restaurants, because the 9-year-old is responding to things that are completely different but relevant to him, and the 23-year-old is responding to things that are relevant to her, right? So this is why there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Earlier, one of the things that I said was something to the effect of talking about that there were multiple types of customers. So earlier in the series of LEDA, we were talking about, the Walmart, Target, and Nordstrom effect, if you will. What does that mean? Walmart, Target, and Nordstrom all have overlapping inventory, overlapping products, and yet they cater to completely different individuals. If you bought a shirt from Walmart, it's not the same as a shirt from Target. It's not the same as the shirt from Nordstrom, or at least the experience of purchasing that shirt. It might actually be the same shirt, but that's another story for another day. Do not go there. My point is that the experience that each of those organizations creates for their customer is what they're focused on. And that's what you should be focused on. So the best strategy for Walmart is not the same as the best strategy for Nordstrom. They're just not the same. They may use similar things, but they're not the same. Additionally, with short-term rentals, strategies changed relative to seasons because who uses and how our short-term rental is used also changes. Whew. So what does all of that mean, and how does it answer your question? What are the best ways to market your short-term rental? The best way is the way that you will do consistently. That is truly the honest answer. Whatever you are willing to do consistently is what will get done. Now, when I say you are willing to do, I want you to hear that we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. All right. It's a book, Atomic Habits. And excuse me, what that should mean to you is, what is the way that I can market to which I can develop a system and make sure that that system constantly runs every day? That's going to be the best way. Right? And now once you've done it once, there's nothing preventing you from doing a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth system. You're totally free to do that. Okay. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. But that's going to be the best way. The specific wording is going to be, again, directly related to who it is that you are trying to attract. For example, when I'm looking at and trying to attract a business owner, I will highlight, a business traveler, I will highlight things that are important to them. For example, Wi-Fi speeds. That's really, really important, and especially right now to them, right? What strategies are people using? Well, the part of the strategy is understanding that what worked in a pre-COVID environment may not be the same thing that works today in it post-COVID or during COVID or whatever you want to call it, right? So adjusting for that, for us, what does that meant? That has meant that we do a lot more work with, say, either a nursing home or a traveling nurse or city officials, and there is more emphasis, more systems around accepting a reservation directly, as opposed to waiting for it to come through one of the OTAs like Airbnb or VRBO or Booking.com or an Expedia or you get my point. So it is a more proactive approach. All of those things are a part of the answer, and yet at the same time, no matter how much I want to get way more specific, it doesn't matter until we know who it is that you want to serve. Now, if you want to get some, I'll call it input, training, what have you, on the concept of who do you want to serve, we are having a like I said, a 9-day. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here it is. So we're having a 9-day live training where I'm going to be right here with you, taking you step by step by step. And even if you've never started, never had any real estate experience, none of that stuff, it won't matter, because that's our favorite, right? And what we'll do is we'll walk you through to understanding and execution so that you can continue to keep moving forward. That'll, excuse me, that'll be exactly what we do over that time period together. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to go over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. All right. So that's good for that question. I'm going to check the chat, see if we've got some from those of you who are online, and we do, because we do have a few more that have been submitted. And I want to pick those up too. Let me see. Go. Got it. OTA. So the OTA, that in fact, I probably use lots of words sometimes. I'm trying to see, is there I wonder, one of the very thing that I love is, well, the internet. But when I was first learning, oh my gosh, when I was first learning financial terms, and as I continue to need an understanding of even a new financial term, one of the things that I will do is I'll just, go look it up. I know that's totally old school, right? At least I don't use an encyclopedia anymore. But like I said, in the process of looking it up, what often you will find is, well, you'll learn something new in a lot of ways, but that's how I figure out a lot of the things. So I wanted to bring this up simply because I was curious when you say the word, hey, what's OTA? I'm like, yeah, that's, I mean, I know what it is, but at the same time, I'm curious if I could give you a resource that would answer that question. And apparently OTA can be used in 65 looks like different ways. Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't expect that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to see if they don't even have what I was considering here. I don't even see it. The OTA, online travel agency or agent. Yes, that this is close to where. Yeah, that'll looks like the closest version of OTA. So when you hear that phrase, just know that specifically me, I'm referring to the marketplaces. A lot of us, unfortunately, gets on my nerves, but we do it anyway. We use words like Airbnb. We use them as a verb. It's not a verb, it's a marketplace. And it's just that simple. So that's what I was referring to, because before, in a pre-COVID environment, extra work beyond the OTA wasn't really necessary at all. You just kind of put it up there and boom, something happened. But now more work is necessary. Now, that's not to say that the OTAs are going away. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw or heard, but Airbnb is planning on filing for IPO. I can't wait to see like more of their S1 and more of the document. I mean, this is interesting to me that now they would do this. So we'll see how that one goes and continues to turn out. But anyway, all right, let's get to a next question. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, where to go? So that was the market one. Yes. Which is perfect. What can I do? That's a good question. That's a good way to start it. What can I do to make people feel secure that my short-term rental units have been properly cleaned to meet COVID standards? What can I say in my ads to reassure people? I like this question because it says to me that you get it. You get that what isn't said is assumed, it's not done. Here's what I mean. For those of you, in fact, I'm curious, how many of you right now, I'm going to say a phrase and I want to know, like, give me a little hand up emoji if you've ever used this particular item for something other than a doorstop. Other than a doorstop. Have you ever used Yellow Pages? Other than as a doorstop. Like, have you actually used it to look something up? So I'm curious if that's you. Give me a little hand emoji in the chat because I want to see that. Now, the reason I bring this up is because in promotion, in advertising, in the process of communicating to your guest, one of the most important things you can do is to make sure that you cover all of their initial questions so that you generate the inquiry. One of the biggest, I will say, oversights, it's not really a mistake, it's just an oversight that I've seen hobbyists make is they'll get the listing up, but they haven't considered the person who's going to be using it enough, and they're not speaking to them through their listing and answering questions that are common that come up. For example, I've seen listings where it may say sleeps 8 people, but when you look at the kitchen and photos of the kitchen, what you don't see is you don't see a place settings. You don't see cups for 8. You don't see plates for 8. You don't see silverware or other flatware for 8. You don't see those things. Now, it doesn't mean those things aren't there. Indeed, they probably are. However, you haven't communicated that they are, and therefore you may have created a question. Does that make sense? I hope so. And one of a very simple thing you can do is to answer their questions or ahead of time by communicating these things. And the reason you do that is because the listing or operator who does answer those questions without them having to send in a message, they're going to get the inquiry or even the booking first above the person who did not. That's just one of many, many techniques and strategies that we'll use to make sure that we, quote unquote, win the best booking for the area, for the dates, ahead of everyone else who may have been on the platform longer and may have been doing things much longer. And that's fine. But you got to think that through up front, right? So when it comes to making people feel secure, that's one thing. And then properly cleaned is another. And then what can you say or how do you communicate that? That's also another. So when it comes to making people feel secure, which, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, that is actually like the number one reason why most people have not yet tried a Booking.com or Airbnb or something of that nature for our alternative accommodations, which, okay, fine, but that's changing as well. Slow, it's coming. And that is one of the things. So one of the things that we will do to help people feel secure is we'll communicate either in our arrival instructions or definitely in our photos, all of our actively monitored security procedure or panels and whatnot that they'll have access to, because we definitely have had more than one instance where the potential guest was wanting to make sure that they were going to be safe and that they had control and that or their kids didn't fly off the balcony, stuff, right? So we'll definitely talk about that. Now, when you do communicate that, you have to also understand that the more secure a place is, the less convenient it is. Those two values are at odds with each other all the time. So if you want to be more secure, it's not necessarily convenient. And if you want to be more convenient, it's probably not anywhere near as secure. You have to find and strike a balance between those two. And the thing that trumps all of that is the ability of your system to scale. I've tested many things. And if you are looking to scale, there's truly only one system that makes that work. But when you're smaller, it doesn't, that's not that big of a concern, right? Because you only have one, maybe two. It's no big deal. And it feels like, hey, I can use any system. And when you're smaller, you can get away with that. But as you grow, that changes. So that's number one, is communicate, show them things like the security procedures that you have. Just straight tell them, either in the description or in photos. Now, that the property has been properly cleaned there's a number of things that are happening. Some of the OTAs are beginning to require or ask the operators, us, to certify that we are following certain standards. And in exchange for that certification, they're creating a little badge or some sort of, indicator that you, the operator, the customer can see. So I would look at that, see if the OTA is offering something of that nature. That would also assist. Plus, there is nothing wrong with communicating again in written words, either in the summary, because this right now, because of how important this is something I would put closer towards the top in written form, written bullet pointed form, that, hey, we need to let people know that our cleaning procedures have been developed. Now, with that, there's a phrase or phrases that I want you to understand. So somebody get ready to type these 3 words in. Cleaning is one thing, right? Sanitation is something completely different. Sterilization and disinfection, these are all different, right? So it's not just about cleaning. So the question is can you communicate that yes, it's clean, but it's also disinfected. It's also been sanitized, and we even have sterilized a few things, right? Can you communicate that? Those are the things that make the difference. We've even gone so far as to research the germicidal UV. I think it's UVC. It's UVC or UVA or B. I can't remember which one. One of them, well, they're all not good for your skin, so don't be in the same room. But being able to research some of those things as well, because I know hospitals are using them, airplanes are, the airline industry has started using them, and there's more of these devices that are coming to the market. In fact, my water bottle is now that uses it, and there's a UVC light in the lid to keep it clean. Oh, crazy! I know. And it's all of those things are things that you can communicate. So that's really what it comes down to. It's understanding that it's not about cleaning. It's also about sterilization. It's also about sanitation, and it's also about disinfection. These are all different things. And now in fact, when this happened, we developed I think it was 68-point checklist. 68-point project list. And under each project could be multiple items that was additional over and above our standard cleaning procedures when COVID hit. And communicated that to the cleaners. And yeah, anyway, it is what it is. That's my point, is you've got to do the same thing. And that's really what it comes down to. So hopefully that answers the question. All right, I see that there's another stack of some comments and whatnot, so I want to get to those. Let's see what we've got here. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see, what is this? Very interesting. I didn't see that coming from her. Yes, I know what he's referring to, the IPO. I didn't see that coming either. I mean, well, I knew they were going to IPO at some point. This was going to be what I thought. In fact, if you go way, way back, like in our December last year, or even maybe early January, some of the live streams that we were doing at that time, I thought this was going to be, quote unquote, Airbnb's breakout year in a very, very strong way, because they were official partner with the Olympics. The Olympics. Can we have a moment of silence for the Olympics? Okay, I'm back. You get my meaning. I was looking forward to the Olympics, guys. Either way. So they were going to be on the television everywhere because of the Olympics, because of, and it was going to be hard to ignore Airbnb. So it was going to be like, it looked like it was going to line up perfect for IPO stuff. And then, COVID. So I didn't think that was like, wow, that still makes sense. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm interested to see what happens there. A lot. I'm interested to see what happens there, but we'll wait. So let me see. Okay, a number of you have used the yellow pages. Great. Other than as a doorstop, right? Because they're that transition period. It's like, why are they still sending us this? We're just gonna use it as a doorstop. Okay, got it. And that's fine. Yes, I love it. Yes, because you guys know, you understand. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, there's a Norwegian version. Okay, cool. You get the idea. So yeah, you used to use that thing. But what's not communicated, your guest assumes it's not there. This is key to understand. Let me say that again. If you don't communicate it, your guest assumes it's not present. In what feels like a prior life, when I was selling Yellow Page ads, that was one of the first lessons our manager shoved down our throat was, hey, when you are building the ad for the business, make sure you include things like, and it's a very simple lesson, open 24 hours. Because if they are open 24 hours, then you want to make sure you say that. Because no one's going to assume at 11 o'clock at night that you're open unless your ad says you're open. Now, you may be open, but because your ad doesn't say it, you don't get the phone call. And that could be everything between getting the business and not. Taking that lesson and applying it here is everything relative to your customer type. So just understand that. What is it? Sanitize. Yes. Sterilization, sanitize, disinfection. These things matter now. Like they're just that much more. You can't just, it's cleaned. That doesn't even communicate enough to people anymore because you've got to go the extra mile. You got to say it. Because if you don't say it, well, it's all not going to help. It's just gotta be there. Yes, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yes, all I'm saying is the Olympics. Oh, well, it is what it is. Hey, Mr. Casey, you're back. Hi, sir. How are you doing? It is. What about medical persons that work in the hospital? Yeah, we've been serving a number of those recently because they've been, overwhelmed. That's an understatement, to say the least. But they definitely have been there. So yeah, they're a great customer to serve. You'll have to do a lot of work negotiating pricing and understanding of how they're compensated, especially the ones that travel, so that you can make it work for them. But once you've cracked that nut, as they say, there's more than enough of them out there right now, especially right now. So you should be able to, is that Charles Keys Sr.? You should be able to make that happen. So that's good. And welcome. First time seeing you. Let's see. Airbnb has its guidelines up on COVID and sanitation. Yes, absolutely. And they're not enough, in my opinion. So I hear you. And I also say that that's not good enough for me. I've seen those guidelines. It's just not good enough. That's my concern. So there's it's the same thing. And again, you got to understand my background. I am a military kid. It's okay. I grew up in what was then West Germany. All right. And that lessons from that and living that way have never, ever left me. What does that mean? That means things like security are high on my list, and I won't sacrifice it at all. I just won't sacrifice security. I will never receive the phone call or the notification that something at one of our locations happened to a person or to their kid or to anything of that nature because we didn't follow a security procedure that we could have followed. Yes. Is it more than what most guests are used to? Yes. Does it often cost us more up front? Yes. Do I care? Not at all. I feel I sleep better at night. This is the same with a lot of the standards that are being posted as what is satisfactory for cleanliness. that's not enough for me, right? I don't want to deal with or try to cut a corner. Cut costs all day. Corners, no. Because that it's not worth it. I don't know how else to say it. It's just not worth it. So I am grateful that Airbnb is posting something, but it doesn't go nearly far or detailed enough, and nor could it, because guess what? Airbnb is not a cleaning company. I wouldn't expect them to know, right? I just wouldn't expect them to know. Now they're being responsible by trying to help with, but ultimately I think that's on the operator, that's on you, that's on me, it's on us to take it all the way there. Would you want your kid staying at your place? Yes or no? If the answer is no, or if there's even a hesitation, then you already know it's not up to standard, right? It's just that simple, and that's something I don't know. I got a little passionate on that. Sorry. Ooh, yeah. I can't allow the platform to try to do my job for me. That is not, I don't perceive that as, ooh, great. Now I don't have to do it. That is not it at all under any state. Oh my gosh. Whew. What's this? I'm here. What's the topic? Hey, Sasha. Okay, so today, what we've been doing is we've been answering questions. I still have a few more that were pre-submitted ahead of time. But if you have a question, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. For those of you who are like Sasha just now joining, hi, my name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. Hit that subscribe button, especially those of you on YouTube, as well as that like button, because that'll tell YouTube that more people like you should be here. It gives them a suggestion. Hey, send this to more people because this was actually helpful for me. And we're here every day during the month of August, 9 a.m. So make sure you come back tomorrow as well. Oh, wow. Sasha gets here and then immediately goes, cut costs. I'll use that later. Yes, absolutely. I don't want to spend more money that is unnecessary. Then isn't that the... You know what I meant. Okay. So my point is you're not getting ahead because you spent less. You're getting ahead when you have served your customer completely, right? And more thoroughly, because there I can show you many times, right? I can show you many times where investing more in the customer experience actually ends up netting you more as a business, and failing to do that because you're trying to, it's just the wrong focus. Yes, your business can take care of you, but you have to take care of the customer, right? All of it in order to create what is the experience. Whew, you get me all kinds of riled up on some of this stuff. Guidelines, not for me. I always ended up washing the apartment until my fiance told me I was wasting my time. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, all right. Just because there are additional standards, that doesn't mean you should be doing it. If your business is where you were doing the cleaning, you're doing the laundry, you're doing the turnovers in any way, shape, or form, like you personally are doing it, unless you have intentionally chosen to do it, not meaning like you actually just want to do it, not because you think you're saving money. Okay. Here's what I would say. You're going to definitely want to join us in a couple of weeks when we get started on our training, because the one thing that we want to free you from is we want to give you time back. We want to help you to put yourself in a position in which you don't have to do a cleaning. You don't have to pick up your linens and laundry and doing those things. That's not going to build an entire business that can work and live and exist regardless of what you are doing. Does that make sense? If that's something that you desire, then great. Join us, because that's kind of what we do. And I have lots of fun doing it. All right. So one of the things I would love to experiment with you guys on is I've got lots of neat little toys and tools, a deck of cards here. And I have cards for when it's just me. I also have cards for when it is not just me. But when it is just me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rely upon you guys in order to decide when to actually answer one of these random questions, okay? And what does that mean? That means if someone types the word cash flow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a card and I'm going to answer these random questions. Now, I mind you, these are completely, you know how when sometimes you're doing an interview or you see someone doing an interview and then they like ask the audience a question and then they ask something that is completely different than what you would have asked. Yeah, this is like a deck of all of those questions. Okay, so yes, anytime I see the word cash flow inside the chat, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna answer one of these questions. So I'm just gonna put that there out there for you guys to have some fun with. All right, let us keep going. Let me see. Another question is. Oh, we answered that. Yes. Here we go. I'm struggling with cleaning costs right now. What's the best way to save some cash? Okay. I have so many questions. Here's what I mean by that. There's a point, it depends, because when you're trying to save cash, the way that you do that is you evaluate the efficiencies inside of your system. So there's top line revenue, obviously, but then there's also reverse engineering out waste, right? For example, one of the first things that I had to do when COVID started hitting, I had to look at, because one of the largest costs is always going to be labor, right? Especially in the United States, labor. So I started evaluating everyone's position, everyone's job, everyone's value to the organization to determine, okay, are they doing is that the best use of their time? Is that the strongest way that they can provide value for the company? Are they playing in the right position? Do we need to create a new position for them? How do we reallocate all of the resources? So you have to do that with something akin to zero-sum thinking, simply meaning if I was to start over today, would I do it, knowing everything I know, would I do it the same way that I'm doing it right now? Yes or no? Would I pay the same thing? Yes or no? So there are many ways to cut costs. And for example, here's a simple one, because this one like saved us a few $1,000s a month. Go look at and evaluate all of your recurring expenses. So because to run a short-term rental business of any size, one of the things that you are doing is you are using either some sort of SaaS product, software as a service, some sort of recurring expense of some kind. You have a number of them, and you probably forgot about a few, okay? And because of that, what you may want to do is you want to go get a tool. Let me see if I can find it real fast, because there are a number of tools now on the marketplace. What they will do is they'll go through your bank account statements and find the charges that are recurring. And all they're going to do is they're just going to ask you, is this something you still want to keep going? Yes or no? Now, don't answer the question just yet. First thing first is go find out if there's another service that has come to the marketplace that might be able to do the exact same thing at a lower price, because it's very possible that has happened. That's what happens with technology. It doesn't stay, it's never static. And then make a decision. Like if there's another company, okay, cool. Maybe do some research on them, see if they can, still give you that same quality, same everything. And then decide to switch or not. And that'll begin to save some cash right there, right? And in some cases, find other ways to expand the use of a particular subscription. Are you actually using it enough to get the value? Or is there a different part of a service that can actually cover the same thing? Here's what I mean. When it comes to your channel manager, this is probably one of the big places. Some channel managers fashion themselves as a messaging tool as well. And then some channel managers also fashion themselves as a pricing tool. And then some try to be all of those things. And some just aren't good at all of those things. It's kind of hard to be good at all of the things. So reevaluating that, because what happened, one of the things that I noticed is that in our messaging platform, they added the ability to manage pricing, albeit on a very, very small level. It was just mostly communication to more platforms. It was like, okay, cool. But that also then created the opportunity to remove a completely different piece of software completely. Because they added one feature, we were able to eliminate some overlap in terms of the services that are being provided. So these are that type of thinking is what's going to get you to the other side, or can get you to the other side of finding room in the budget. Okay, so let me see. There was an app. There was one of them. Well, there's a number of them that are apps that I found that do this, and I'm trying to find at least one of them so that I can give you another resource that would help you and that you could use today to go save some money. Where did I? Nope, that's not it. And then having so many stinking apps on your phone, it's like, where was it? Oh my gosh, lots of apps, like a lot of them. I really can't find any of the apps. Here's one. This one is rather straightforward too. And I like it because, let me see, 1, 2, 3. There you go. It's, oops, let's do it that way. It's called Recoup. So, what it comes down to is it searches through your bank and credit card to see if there are any lower subscriptions that are available from a particular company, and or bank fees that you may have been charged that you just missed or weren't aware of, and it literally applies for a refund on your behalf. So you literally connect it, it searches your transactions, and then you can start applying for refunds to come back to you. And depending on how egregious or overcharging something is, you could get, a few $100s, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for pressing a few buttons. Now, obviously, you're giving up data. I get that. I understand, why they're doing it. But my point is, when you're asking me about cash, that's one of the things that comes up. Here's another one this is actually one of the ones that I was thinking about, is Truebill. And this is definitely that, because it will remind you of your recurring subscriptions if you want it to as well, and also help you to remove them so that you're aware, you're conscious of them. So this is doing something like this little exercise. I would be surprised, depending on the size of your business, you may end up, $1,000, $2,000 a month. I know it sounds crazy, but $1,000 to $2,000 a year of quote unquote savings from stuff that you just may have forgotten about and you just don't remember. So go through that. If you're having cash challenges and you're trying to increase net profit and revenue is squeezed, this is the painstaking, time-consuming process that you should be undergoing. All right, I see a few more in the chat, so let's go, and hopefully I crushed that answer too for you, and we'll just keep going. In fact, if you've got a question, go to CashFlowDiary.com/ask, ASK, and what we will do is we will answer it. Because the way to guarantee your question gets answered is to do that. And in some cases, when you ask a really good question, you know what we do? We'll bring you on live. All right. Whoops, scroll down. So let's see. Guidelines. Great. What is this? Great. Thanks for answering on the cleaning. Yeah, no problems. What we do. Oh, Jeremy, that's just wrong. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see what we've got for the question. Okay, so like I said, these are totally strange questions. This one is, what is the scariest sound you could hear in the middle of the night? I think there are many sounds that could be scary, but I don't know if you guys remember like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. There was one a long time ago where he was just scraping them on the pipes yeah. Let's just skip that. Okay. So anyway, thanks, Jeremy, for having some fun. And that gives you some ideas. We'll see if there's any more. Okay, Mary, let's just do this. What slogan or jingle got stuck in your head forever? Maybe not obviously, but Nike, just do it. It has never left me because it was one of the first companies. Because I can remember I was in Germany and I forgot what happened, but it was some sort of assignment or something, or maybe my mom said it. And I said something to the effect of, man, I wish I could write them. Like that was a limiting belief. Like I couldn't talk to Nike. That wouldn't happen. And I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I wrote, but I did something that ended up in which I got a copy of the Michael Jordan dunk contest poster that they made. And from that moment on, Nike, just do it, has always been there for me anyway. So, okay, I see that we're having fun with this. So this is good. If you could bring one famous person back from the dead, who would you pick? Oh my God, I can't believe this. All right, so this is interesting to me. There aren't many artists in general that I miss. Does that make sense? Where I feel like the artist died way too young, and there just aren't that many of them. So one of them is, for me, again, is the artist that many people may know as Aaliyah. And I remember when the airplane crashed, I was not happy about that, but I miss the music. That's what I would say right there. So for me, that's who that would be. Okay, I see that you guys are getting this. And my concern is you might like it a little too much. Oh, well, scratch that. All right, here we are. One more time. What would be the absolute worst name you could give your child? Okay. The absolute worst name. Well, there was, I don't know if it's the worst name, but I can tell you unequivocally, one of the reasons that I used to watch all of the movie credits. I watched movie credits for inspirations for names so that one day when I had kids, I could have something to pull from. I was building a database. But for whatever reason, the name D'Artagnan has always stuck with me. Yes, one of the Three Musketeers. I know. I understand. Got it. I think you guys get how this works. So let's see. Let's finish up for today because we're going a little long. And let's see. Jamila has a really, really long question here. Oh, it fit. Yes. Okay. It covered my face, but it's all good. I have a case that's been with the second-tier Airbnb guest who was okay until she left and broke about 5 things. She posted in her review that the only reason she is giving me a bad review to this great house that is against their rules. And I, as far have read, can't get them to call back or respond. Any ideas? Plus, I've tried to give a... Okay, got it. Whew. Totally understood. All right, so I think I understand what's going on. Let me summarize for everyone else. There are content, what are known as content guidelines. There are rules for how the reviews or what they're supposed to say, not say, and what Jamila is saying is she's trying to get it removed. And sometimes that can definitely be a process, right? And this is, Jamila, one of the things why there comes a point in your business, what you want to begin to develop is what I call a customer experience department, because the amount of times and follow-up it can take to actually get that credit often can't be worth it. Now, in this case, because it's a review, it's totally worth it because it's going to impact revenue for so many reservations into the future. However, I would begin to look into developing a VA or someone who could follow your SOPs so that you don't have to be the one to do it. It's really expensive when we have to do it. In fact, it got to the point to where I just stopped doing them and I didn't care because it was too much work to keep following up over and over and over again. And that is unfortunately what it takes, because they're not really good at, they're just not good at it. And it just takes a while. And I know you don't like what I said, and I'm sorry, but it's the truth. So we just have to deal with it. All right. Now, with all of that being said, what I will say is I want to leave you guys with the following. Some of you, maybe you've enjoyed the information thus far. It's helping you in some way, shape, or form. If so, cool. Thank you for being here. We have some more surprises planned for you over the next couple of days. So make sure you come back. It's 9 a.m. All right. For 9 a.m. Pacific time. Let me be very, very clear. And let me see, coming up, what are we going to be talking about? Let me see. Nope, that was Wednesday. I need coming up. Yes. So coming up, what we're going to be talking about are things like how to set yourself up for quick pivots. Okay. So we're doing the pivots tomorrow. So what does that mean is there is a 5-step system that we found, that we use, that we adapted for the short-term rental world. We're going to go over that, and I'll do my best to get through all of it. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll go through it. We'll do our best to, and it's going to help you, regardless of what business or industry you're in. It's going to help you with your cash flow, because that's what I care about, right? The more cash flow that you guys have, the more jobs that you guys create, the faster things get back to whatever normal is going to be in the future. All right. So with that being said, here's what I would love for you to do. Make sure, if you haven't already, follow the page, hit like, do all the social media things. Feel free to share with a friend and invite them back tomorrow as well. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.